Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. To continue lecture number 2, so now we are in the lecture number 3. In lecture number 2, we discussed some stories, example of hackings. Okay, we discussed about how the hackers attack different websites. Okay, in front of you, you can see one of the website. It is called Indian Railways website, hacked by Pakistani Adversaries. Okay, so you can see over here, this is the Indian National Railway website which has been hacked by the Pakistani hackers. Okay, so they find some vulnerabilities in that one, and then they hacked it. So some of the hacking is for money, some is for fame, some is for enmity, some hacking is just for kids playing. So different kinds of hacking activities are played around the world for different purposes. Some are especially nowadays, some are can be for the terrorism activities as well. So you can see over here these 4 examples we discussed about the Google search for the health records, and for the hacking of the Indian railway station, and then we have how to hack the Chrome operating system and to gain $2.7 million. Okay, and this is for the money as well. Okay, and alright, so in the lecture number 3, we are going to discuss the different problems associated with hacking. Like for example, some people are hacking for money, some people are for fame, some people are for enmity, some people are for losing for privacy leakages, and you can see some MacBook or the company by itself, they are vulnerable for the users. Who are the adversaries? Means who are the competent opponents and who are the challengers for the information security. As you can see here, the computer criminals. Who are the criminals? Amateurs means small kids, script kiddies, okay, crackers, organized crime and professional criminals, and cyber warriors among the different countries or among different groups, and the terrorists can be. Remember, one approach to prevention and moderation is to understand who commits the crimes and why. This is an important thing, that you must know the root cause for the launching an attack and how we can prevent it and why they did it. So this is very important, that who did it and why did it. This is the most important thing. And then we can see security principles. There are 2 basic principles you can see over here. One is for attacker and another is for defender. For attacker, the most important thing is the easiest penetration. So that is called the principle of easiest penetration. You can see, and the next one is the system is only as strong as its weakest link, and they see the weakest point to enter into a system. Just like a thief, they see the weakest point to enter in a house or in a building, okay, for stealing. Okay, similarly, hackers, they see the weakest point to enter into your computer. Attackers will always look for the easiest entrance. For defender, for us, for the information security professional, that is called principle of adequate protection. Adequate means like appropriate, like enough, or reasonable protection. Security is economics as well. Like for example, if your asset is about 1000 real or $1000, and you spend about 0.1 million real on that one, or $0.1 million on that one, so that will be a stupidity, because your asset cost only $1000 and you are spending about like $0.1 million on that one. So in that case, or $100,000 on that one, so in that case it will not be a security, is economics. So economics is important to see that one. Yeah, in case if your asset is about for example $10 million, and the security cost is about just like $10,000, so that is quite reasonable, then you can spend on it. But the vice versa is not appropriate. To build a secure system, we need to think like attackers. Okay, how the attackers do. So we need to think like similarly, just like a police thinks like a criminals, and then they can defend easily. Otherwise, the criminals are more proactive. The criminals are more they know more techniques to do things. Similarly, the attackers, the cyber attacker, the cyber hackers, they have more techniques than the information security professional. So to defend them, we need to think like them. Terminologies, what are the different terminology we're gonna use it? Assets, asset is one of the terminology, and vulnerability is another terminology we can use it. And we can see a threat is a terminology, an attack is a terminology, control, relationships. Okay, so these are a few terminology we need to discuss one by one. Asset, what do you mean by asset? Asset can be hardware, software, and the data. It is wrongly written as data, so it's the data. Okay. Vulnerability, yeah. What is a vulnerability? Vulnerability is a weaknesses. It is loopholes, or vulnerability is what you call it, discrepancies in your security system. For example, it can be in weaknesses in a procedure, it can be weakness in design of your software or data, or it can be weakness in the implementation of your software, or that might be exploited to cause loss and financial or physical harms for your organization. A particular system may be vulnerable to unauthorized data manipulation because the system does not verify user identity before allowing data access. Okay, so we can say a particular system may be vulnerable how to unauthorized data manipulation because the system does not verify user identity. So verification of user identity is must. Threat. What is a threat? Threat is a circumstance. Threat is an environment for whom? For computer system, which is a potential to cause loss and harm. It can be a physical loss of the for computers, or it can be a financial loss, or it can be a monetary loss. Revealing user personal files to public. What is an attack? Attack is an action. Okay, so there is a minor difference between a threat and attack. A threat is the circumstances, while attack is a exploit, or it's an action which exploits the vulnerabilities. So it means that if you have a loophole, if you have the weak point to enter into a computer or software, then there is a threat for your system. And when there is a threat for your system, then you can attack. Then you can launch an attack. So control is an action. Okay, it can be an action. You can put a device, or you can put some procedure or techniques which removes the vulnerability. So if there is any loopholes, if there is any missing things, when you give some action for that one, when you provide some device for that one, when you provide some procedure for that one, or techniques for that one, that removes their vulnerabilities. The relationship is blocked. A threat is blocked by control of vulnerability to prevent an attack. Okay. So relationship. So a threat is blocked by control of vulnerability to prevent an attack. So these three are interlinked things. Okay. So you can easily formulate a sentence or a phrase that a threat is blocked by control. Okay. So control is a procedure, as I told you, it's a device of a vulnerability. A vulnerability is a weakness to prevent an attack. So there is a relationship between these three items. Method, opportunity, and motive. Okay, what is the what these three terminology means? A malicious attacker must have three things. Okay, for example, consider yourself as an attacker. Okay, so you must have these three things. For example, if you're a hacker, you must be having a method, you must be having an opportunity, and you must be having a motive. If you don't have any of these three things, so the attack will be useless, for example, and you cannot launch the attack. So to be a good ethical hackers, you need the skills, knowledge, tools, other thing which needs to be able to pull off the attack. Second thing is opportunity. Means you need time, plenty of time to launch the attack, and access to accomplish the attack as well, to get access to the secure computers. And then the next thing is, the third thing is a motive. Why you want to launch an attack? What is the reason? Whether it's a monetary, or whether it is a like a fame or name, or whether it is just like a competition between two nations, two groups, two organizations. So a reason to want to perform this attack against this system. These three are important things for the launching attack. Here you can see by the acknowledgement of Charles Fletcher book, okay, figure 1, you can see over here that there is a person. You can see threat, control, and vulnerabilities. They are showing the example of how the threat and the controls and vulnerabilities can work. Okay, you can see the water level, the person, and the controls, how he put the control for the water level, and what are the different threats they have. Okay, you can see over here the threat level is upper, and there is a threat. Okay, there is a vulnerability, and the dam is broken, or the wall is broken to the person to which it is pointing to. Okay, and the water level is down, so the threat is there, but the threat is in a minimum level. In case if the water goes up, so there is a crack and the water can flow into that one. So this is according to my understanding. Maybe if you just if you peep in this picture and can extract something new, so please do share with me and your comments. Okay, these four are important terminology which we need to discuss. There are four basic things about the threats. Okay, the first one is the interception, the second is the interruption, and the third one is the modification, and the fourth one is the fabrication. Okay, what is the interception? Means unauthorized party has gained access to an asset. That how an unauthorized person can enter into your asset. Okay, so that is called interception. Okay, you intercept things, you intercept the calls, or you intercept the data. Okay, there is example of failure or illegal copying of program or data files, or wire tapping to obtain data in a network. Okay, so the second thing is about interruption. Interruption is means, for example, asset of a system becomes lost, unavailable or unusable. Okay, so you interrupt some process, you interrupt some data so that people cannot use it. Example is malicious destruction of hardware device, erasure of program or data file. This is one of the example for interruption. So there is a difference between the interception and the interruption. And you can see the malfunction of operating system file manager, so that it cannot find a particular disk file. The third example is about the modification. You can see over here the diagram as well. So the modification, if an unauthorized party not only access but tampers with an asset, that is a modification. So if you change something for something, that is a kind of a modification. Fabrication. If you see, the fabrication is just to an unauthorized party might create a fabrication of counterfeit object on a computing system. If you uh, embed something, if you insert something into the original thing so that it looks real, virtually it looks real. Okay, so sometimes these addition can be detected as a forgeries, but it is skillfully done. They are virtually indistinguishable from real things. So when designing a system, we need to specify the threat model, set of threats we are defining, whom do we want to stop from doing things. Okay, so if you have a hardware, you need to protect him from the interception, fabrication, and modification. If you have software, so still you need the interruption, and the interruption you call deletion. Okay, software can be deleted. In the hardware, the interruption is denial of service, means the service cannot be obtained, you cannot access the hardware, and the theft can be there. Interception means theft can be there, and substitution. In case of the data, you have these four things. The interruption is like loss of the data. If some of the data is lost, so we refer as the interruption. So by this we end up lecture number 3. Okay, in the lecture number 4 we will discuss about method of defense against threat, that how we can how can we defend our threats. What are the different methods for that one. So stay tuned with us, and see lecture number 4. Thank you.